So let's scroll back to the platform. Mhm. My mic is on. Okay, so we reached here yesterday. Resolution cannot be attained based on fear and temptation, yet the whole world is bent on finding resolution that way. Even today, we educate and train to build systems based on fear and temptation, but orderliness cannot come from these. The moment anything is built based on fear and temptation, the process of its disintegration begins immediately. So I think this is where we left off yesterday. Am I audible? Okay. Orderliness at any level, family, industry, governance, or state, can only be achieved based on values and evaluation. Orderliness means that humans can exhibit their authenticity, fulfill justice, and participate. The education sanskar system aims to impart the formula of understanding to every family, individual, and child. The process can also be referred to as the dissemination of understanding. As mentioned earlier, first comes the holistic view, darshan, followed by ideology, vad, then treatises, shastra, and finally plans, yojana. One of these plans is Jeevan Vidya plan, which enables any family to achieve humane consciousness. With this understanding, one can live in orderliness within the family. So, just looking back at this, the holistic view, I think we are at this point, Darshan, seeing the holistic view, right? Followed by the ideology, which is Vad, then treatises, Shastra, and finally plan, Yojana. So, this is what we have to achieve to become orderly, and this then spreads to the family, and the family is then living in orderliness, right? The second plan in is the humanization of education, which provides a system of education for children. We implemented this education system at a school in Bijnor, Uttar Pradesh, over a period of 5 years. This experience allowed us to observe the impact of humanizing education based on Jeevan Vidya. So here also the education part is also important, where the children will be having this sort of education, or rather the education based on the darshan will be imparted to them. So that is how this was also practiced in Bijnor, as it's mentioned here, over a period of 5 years. This experience allowed us to observe the impact of humanizing education based on Jain Vidya. Okay. People often say that the environment influences students, a notion I have always disagreed with. If the environment had such an overriding effect, how could I have succeeded in my exploration? Evidence from this school shows that children influence their families, and in turn, families influence their environment. The children began to see themselves as Jivan, conscious beings, rather than merely as bodies, and they recognized the necessity of living in orderliness. As a result, many children started losing interest in television and frivolous talks evaluating them as meaningless. Additionally, conflicts, fights, and ill will among families in the village began to diminish. To my knowledge, these villages now experience fewer disputes and conflicts. I assert that the environment shaped by the children's conduct had a significant impact. On this basis, I claim that this education system is effective. So, this paragraph is saying that the environment is created by the darshan or the orderliness that is achieved within the children once they are realized that they are not just the body but they are the Jeevan. So they in turn influence their parents, and their parents also influence the environment. And that's the proof that it is being said here that that is how the environment is also the environment also changes according to the people who are with it. Okay, so as part of the humanization of education plan, we will impart the study of the sentient aspect along with science. Study of sentient aspect means study of Jivan and its awakening. We will study composition and decomposition in the physicochemical world, how it is complementary for humans and how humans can be complementary and useful for these. See, I think the first step of all this understanding is that how it is functioning in the first place. I will give you an example of what a simple thing as the water is also known for. It is just known for maybe four or five things. One is washing, cleaning, cooking, and growing plants at most, and then it's used in the industries. These are the four to five functions of the water. But water, as it's such, it is such a like a malleable in a sense thing that it combines with most of the substances on the surface of the earth. It dissolves most of the the elements, you know. It dissolves oxygen, it dissolves even things that are solid like sugar and salt and all these kind of things. So that having said that, it also is able to transport nutrients within our body, you know, through the blood. And on 90% of even more than that is of our blood is composed of water. So we can just imagine the use of water as such. Our eyes are filled with water, our skin, our all our tongue also is, it measures the taste because of the water. Our brains can remember the cell formation, and the memories are stored because of the water content, you know, in the body. So all this can be actually understood as such that this is the reason that water is so important, right? If it was not this, then we can say that we have not understood water as such. So the thing is to understand first. After understanding, then we will find new and better and insightful ways of storing it, of keeping, saving it, of not wasting it. You know, of like you can put it into the ground rather than to flow it to the sea or the oceans. So these are some of the things that we will start doing once we know the importance of something. So first of all is to know and understand the importance of something. Then we can design along with it. Along with that knowledge, we can design the now the better and the new way of looking at it and preserving it and holding it and taking care of it. So this is very important to understand things first, in line with existence, right? So that's very important. If anybody else wants to share or comment, they can do so. Okay, so I will now continue. Uh, Along with this, we will study the activity aspect in alternative philosophy, which is to say that philosophy is for the understanding of human beings Understanding should be evidenced. When we build our identities with understanding, only coexistence is recognized in our relationships. Values are fulfilled and mutual satisfaction results. I think this is worth reading again. Along with this, we will study the activity of as activity aspect in alternative philosophy, which is to say that philosophy is for understanding of human beings. So until now, even in the beginning of this Jeevan Vidya introduction book, we had seen that the human being himself or herself has not been understood. Everything else, every matter, every composition of elements, every plant, every animal has been studied, but the human being and the intrinsic requirements, as in what is the human driven by, or rather, what is the human satisfied with, is not been known. So, understanding humans will be the philosophy, as this is claiming that this philosophy will be making you understand. Understanding should be evidenced. When we build our identities with understanding, only coexistence is recognized in our relationships. Values are fulfilled and mutual satisfaction results. So, in this paragraph, we are saying that once we recognize who and what human beings are, we will see only coexistence, right? Only coexistence is recognized. That means that human being is a coexistence of everything else, every element, every even the air that we are breathing was somewhere recycled by the plants and the trees. Even the water has been recycled by the oceans and the water cycle. Every food that we have taken has been replenished. The minerals have been replenished by some decomposed green matter or green waste, and the fruit has come out of that. So it is all just about understanding this intrinsic design of cyclicity of what nature is coming up with, renewing and refreshing everything continuously, for endless time. At least that is what is being seen to appear in front of us. So we can say that this is a relationship of coexistence for eternity. At least that's what it looks like, right? And we only see relationships there. Is Coexistence is recognized in our relationships, values are fulfilled, and mutual satisfaction results. So yeah, orderliness is a perpetual truth in coexistence. So here again, as I was saying, uh, continuously recycling until infinity. So this is again reinforced here. Orderliness is perpetual truth in coexistence. Each unit in existence has inherent orderliness. For example, oakness is the inherentness in in an oak tree. A people tree maintains its definite conduct with all its fruits, seeds, and leaves exhibiting people's properties, intrinsic nature, and dharma. In the same way, the conduct of the entire units of plants world, the conduct of entire units of plant world and animal world is definite. Each exhibit their respective definite conducts. This is inherent orderliness. So uh, we need to understand this that every plant, based on their conduct and on their outcome, or I remember sometimes that it is said by farmers that we can know the type of tree by looking at the fourth leaf. So when the two leaves are coming out from any seed, mostly it's not so easy to recognize. But when the tree or the plant is growing the second pair of its leaves, that is the fourth leaves, we can recognize that this is a neem tree, or there's a people tree, or this is a, even maybe we can some people can just touch the plant leaves and rub them a little bit, and from the smell one can recognize that this tree is a particular tree. So intrinsic properties of these plants are inherent within their structure, within their leaves, within their smells, within their nature of fruits. and they stay constant. This constants is with their seed, which is multiplying, right? And the same thing can be said with animals. Their appearance, we can know that there is this appearance. So this is a dog, this is a cat, this is a lion, this is a donkey. So this again also stays the same. Its conduct also is similar. Bird will only weave, as for example, a weaver bird will only weave that kind of nest, and pigeon will only build that kind of nest. So we can recognize their types or their varieties based on their conduct. So this is what it means. So again, now the sentence will come about humans. Let's see what it says. The conduct of humans could not become definite until now because humans could not live in orderliness until now. We humans haven't accomplished orderliness yet, but we have reached the point of feeling that it is needed. So by orderliness, it means that all of us as humans, we have not seen what is a common, like a flat line, or what is the common base of all the human beings until now. Yet the need of that, the same is required, or is needed. We will need to live with the inherent orderliness of humans to accomplish it. What is the inheritness of humans? Inheritness in humans is humaneness or humane conduct, consisting of values, character, and ethics. So I think this is borderlining on philosophy, and that's why it's going to be a little bit confusing for the people who are maybe scientists or anything to that nature, because they will say that we want evidence or we want something physical to dissect, or to, so sort of give measuring of things, like the way that is the measuring tools that they have, the scientists. I mean, they will always say it in the sense of like a sort of measuring lines that they need for this. And always this, when it comes to philosophy, when we are saying that inheritness in humans is humaneness. Now, how do you measure the humaneness, right? Of or humane conduct. Now, how do you do that? I mean, consisting of values. Now, how do you measure the values? Like we mentioned the 9 values before in the last 2 days. How do you measure the values, right? Character. How do you measure the character? Ethics. So the evidence of values is relationships, values, evaluation, and mutual satisfaction. So again, here humans only can evaluate other humans based on their uh, participation, based on their speech, based on their actions. So if a person is knowledgeable or is wise, they will, sorry, if a person is or in orderliness and knowledgeable, they will have their conduct in orderliness, in line with existence. So this is one thing that we can say, that it will always be that we will find the scientists left uh, scratching their heads. They will not know how to measure all these kind of things, right? But the answer in itself here is said here. The evidence of values is relationships. So they will have to understand, the scientist, I mean, they will have to understand that there is a new way of measuring now, and that is through relationships, right? So this is going to be the hardest part, I think, that when somebody has put so much effort onto science and their measuring tools, here comes a new philosophy which is all about giving resolution in all fields. But then at the end of the day, it just comes to the point where it will not be measured, or will not be measured by the traditional tools. So it will have a lot of problem with that. But let's see. I think if more of us are into the limelight, we will definitely achieve that too with the scientists and their pre-notions of materialism also. They will also want to measure it because that's how they've been trained. Mutual satisfaction is essential for a family, and more than that, it is needed. It is not even needed. Okay, mutual satisfaction is essential for a family, and more than that is not even needed. Okay, I just didn't read it right. So, nothing more is needed. Let me just read it again in a different way. Nothing more is needed than mutual satisfaction, right? And this is the most essential part in the family. So, उभय तृप्ति जिसको कहते हैं ना, उभय तृप्ति मतलब mutual satisfaction is essential in a family. So again and again, we are focusing on to the whole of existence, the whole of the world, but at the same time, it boils down to the family. The family has to be the cusp or the fulcrum of everything which begins and it ends also. That's when it says here nothing more than it is, then that is not even needed. तो उससे ज्यादा भी कुछ भी कोई जरूरत भी नहीं है म्यूचुअल सेटिस्फेक्शन से ज्यादा और कुछ भी जरूरत भी नहीं है दिस itself is humaneness. यही मानवीयता है. I think that's what it means here. This will happen when humans spontaneously live with values. Okay, so the spontaneity comes with the knowledge. So we have to also know that it just doesn't come out of the thin air. One has to be knowledgeable. One has to have done adhyan. One has to know this philosophy in and out, and hence humans will be spontaneously living with values. Right. The issue of character will need to be addressed from living in orderliness. Character has been recognized as rightfully owned wealth, marital faithfulness, and kindness in work and behavior. So, here the character of the person or the members of the family is being scrutinized almost, and it is inputted the peril of trust or faith, not faith, but trust, for example. What is the basis of a character to be trustworthy? So it has to be rightfully owned wealth, which is the character, will have marital faithfulness and kindness in work and behavior. So again, I just comes to that point where the how will the scientist also be able to manage all these things, work out all these things. So it is the self being in line with orderliness. We will be conducting this sort of checks onto themselves as to whether they are in line with orderliness, and that if they are, then they will be showing these characteristics, kindness in work and behavior. Ethics are the right use and protection of resources in the form of body, mind, and wealth, which leads to fearlessness in human living. So I'll just read that again. Until now, ethics is somewhat related with religion or with sort of biases of wrong and right use. But here it is saying right use based on the existence. Like if you are seeing that something is not supposed to be grown in the desert, then we are still putting up the greenhouses and growing the things in the desert. So that is not aligned with existence. So we will not do those kind of activities where the resources are stretched and not in line with existence, and we are still pulling out the resources from the under the ground or from using fossil fuels. I mean, half of the work that we see happening right now is there is some hydro carbon fuels in one part of the world. We are using that and dragging it out of the ground and then burning it all over the world. Like that is what the whole of transport in the sea is about, which is transportation of crude oil. And I think that is the most unethical thing that we are still doing. I mean, of course, we don't have any alternative. One of the alternative is green energy, which is from the solar, and we use that, and we use to drive cars with electric cars. But until and unless there is this understanding that what is the need of all this transportation, everybody understands that, then we will start to see the decline of usage of fossil fuels, because that is one of the most unethical thing in my view, where something takes at least 400 million years. I'm not talking about 4 million years, I'm talking about 400 million years to make. I think it was that many years. It's not 4 million, it's 400 million years to make. I'll just have to check my numbers again. But this was placed there for some function, and now we know that the function was for the uh, maintenance of the temperature of the Earth at a reasonable rate, even at the night time. Because what happens is that when the sun is not shining, the latent heat which is captured during the day is actually released slowly during the night through these oil and gas, natural gas, which are found in the under the Earth's surface. So now what we are doing is that first, at one point, we are removing those gases and then oil. So now we can actually face um, the ice age sort of effect. First thing, and the second thing is that we are also burning them. So it is like a double sword. We are cutting ourselves both ways. We will face the cold climate in the night times, and we will also face the heat during during sunny hours, because we are blanketing the earth literally with the smoke and soot and all these hydrocarbons which are unburnt, basically not burnt properly. Whenever we drive the car and we drive the car fast, the the carbon is not able to combine with the oxygen properly, and so we are emitting these gaseous forms which are not suitable for the environment, and they turn out to be this greenhouse gases. And I just learned of one of the greenhouse gases, which is methane gas also. So that is also another big problem that I mean, if we go down this rabbit hole, it will be like taking the whole day. And I can talk about this again and again, that there are so many greenhouse gases and greenhouse, um, like the types of gases that is used. And so one of them is sulfur hexafluoride or something like that, which is a very heavy gas, and it is used in industrial plants. It is almost I think 28,000 times more potent than carbon dioxide. And this gas, sulfur hexafluoride, this gas is used in heavy electrical equipment to to disconnect the equipment. Like it's when the switching equipment basically. So it reduces the arcing or the effect of sparking inside that equipment. So these equipments are filled up with this gas, and most often than not, these gases actually leak out from time to time, and they create a lot of havoc in the atmosphere. So this is another big problem that we are using. We are using this in the name of industry, that this kind of gases are just like the CFC, right? We all know about the CFC. It was used in air conditioners and refrigerant coolants, and then suddenly this was then found out to be creating a lot of a havoc on the ozone, and so suddenly it was banned by all of the countries all over the world. So until something does not break down and until something is not ruined, we don't see the ways of stopping it, and this is because we have not understood the things. So again comes down to this. Now that we know that there is these gases that are there, which are actually going to create some problems in the future, we should be aware of how to become ethical. So the point I was trying to make is that we, as a person who is intelligent as a species, need to take the right stronghold into the right steps forward for the future, for the sake of the future, for the sake of our, you know, I mean, future generations. That we should not mine this kind of things. We should not create this kind of gases, or we should not create this kind of things that are going to harm the environment ultimately in the future, right? So, yeah. By the way, this heavy electrical switching, is needed because we have centralized the electrical system. We are relying on a grid which is centralized. There is some place that electrical generation happens, and then there is this switching gear there that basically switches the electricity, and then they have to be the switching gears have to be filled up with this kind of gases so that the sparking does not happen. So it just boils down to the things of decentralizing the things and making it ethical like that. So we don't need to say, for example, go and use hydroelectric power from so far away. We can just use the solar energy, or we can just generate it locally. We can maybe use the methane gas and drive the generators like that locally. So many things can be done, I mean, so it's just a matter of understanding the right things and making the first step, taking the first step, right? So uh, a simple way of solving this so easily is to just turn off all the lights after 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I mean, isn't that too, is that too hard to accomplish? I mean, in a enlightened world, it doesn't mean that we have to be so tech savvy, but rather be natural with the way the things are working with the existence. Uh, I remember in the villages, everybody used to go to sleep at the time of 9, maybe maximum 9:30. Right now, today, if you look at the world today, 11:30 is a common time to sleep, or midnight rather, and that has actually just increased because of the lighting, because of the availability of food, because of the availability of open malls and all this kind of culture. We are able to see that availability of transport also, we are able to see that a lot of people are moving even at the night time. And at 10, 11 is just a common now, common time to actually make an outing, go for an out walk, or even go to the mall or something like that. So these things are there, especially in the metros and the cities that are there in the metro culture there. So yeah, so everything needs to be reviewed, I think, in my understanding, right? Anybody else wants to add or to comment on what I've said? May I ask somebody else to help me to read, because I may be traveling in a little while. So maybe you can continue. Who will be able to help me to read? Uh, Shivangi, will you be able to read?
Huh, Bhaiya, yes.
Okay, thank you.
The issue of character will need to be addressed for living in orderliness. Character has been recognized as rightfully owned wealth, marital faithfulness, and kindness in
Sorry. Yeah.
work and behavior. Ethics are the right use and protection of resources in the form of mind and wealth, which leads to fearlessness, trust in human living. This is the description of humane conduct in which humans can live nicely with assurance. Now we come to the definition of a human being. A human is one who materializes ideas. This means that a human being actualizes whatever comes to their mind, like building a machine, a house, etc., and lives in the hope of and lives in the hope of mental well-being or happiness. Happiness is the germ of humans. Through this understanding, we grasp the essence of values, characters, and ethics. According to this,
Yeah, I think this is very easy to understand. Human actualizes whatever comes into their mind, like building machine, house, and lives in the hope of mental well-being or happiness. Happiness is the dharma of humans. Through this understanding, we grasp the essence of values, character, and ethics. Right. So yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes, Shivangi.
according to this definition, Humans have achieved the aspect of materializing ideas. There are two types of idea materialization, one for common aspirations, food, shelter, clothing, and other for special aspirations, telecommunication and transportation. However, evidence of humane conduct is absent today. It is neither found in education nor in the Constitution. The Constitution lacks any provision for evaluating humane conduct. Any
Right.
part-centric constitution does not include provisions for evidencing human conduct, as
Mm.
it is not inherently human.
Right.
Consequently, human conduct cannot be expected from such a constitution.
Right.
No one has been able to evidence human conduct based on this system. Humans have neither mustered the courage for such evaluation nor gathered such understanding. Humans will not be able to live happily and will continue to fight unless these deficiencies are addressed.
Mm.
Understanding is the only Understanding is the only way out of this messy situation. The humanization of education is crucial for this purpose. We will integrate the study of the conscious aspect, Jeevan in science, the activity aspect of nature in philosophy, and the sansara aspect in psychology, and human and humanness aspects in geography and history. By
Mm.
incorporating humanness into education, humans will
Mm.
naturally tend to live in orderliness and evidence themselves.
Right. Yeah. So this is, I think, this is the most important part of the book. How it will be, progressed. Um, I'll just read it again. We will integrate the study of the conscious aspect given in science. So that's basically, until now it was not done. Until now the body was just the body and it is alive and it passes on. It passes on into nothingness. But now we are saying that the body perishes, but the jivan is, And so we will integrate the study of the conscious aspect, which is the jivan in science, the activity aspect of nature in philosophy. So I think that's what it, Shalini, if you can help, what this means is the activity aspect of nature in philosophy. What does that mean? Integrating that into the study. The sanskar aspect in psychology and humaneness aspect in geography and history. दर्शन पक्ष में क्रिया पक्ष का Okay. संस्कार पक्ष में मनोविज्ञान में संस्कार पक्ष का हाँ. Okay. मानव एंड ह्यूमन एंड ह्यूमेननेस एस्पेक्ट्स इन ज्योग्राफी है ना, तो भूगोल और इतिहास में मानव और मानवीयता पक्ष का इसको इनकॉर्पोरेशन करना है. So what is the second part of this part mean? जो तो इस जीवन का साइंस में we will integrate the study of consciousness aspect in science. वो तो समझ में आया. तो विज्ञान के साथ चैतन्य पक्ष का अध्ययन, क्योंकि विज्ञान अभी जो है वो जड़ का ही अध्ययन कर रही है. राइट. द एक्टिविटी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ नेचर इन फिलोसफी है ना, जो दर्शन है उसमें क्रिया पक्ष का, अभी जो दर्शन है उसमें जो व्यापक महिमा का ही गुणगान या व्यापक महिमा का ही अध्ययन है. तो दर्शन में क्रिया पक्ष का जोड़ना है. और मनोविज्ञान पक्ष में संस्कार पक्ष का, जो मनोविज्ञान है अभी तक मन वृत्ति चित्त यहाँ तक की क्रियाओं का ही अध्ययन किया है, क्योंकि वो शरीर मूलक जो संवेदनाओं का जो इनपुट जा रहा है उतना ही अध्ययन कर पाया है. तो जब उसमें संस्कार पक्ष है, जो संस्कार है वो बुद्धि में होने वाली चीज है ना, तो बुद्धि में बोध को ही संस्कार कहा है. तो जो स्थिर वस्तुएं हैं, जो जो स्थिर सत्य हैं, मतलब स्वभाव और धर्म, इनका जब अध्ययन पूर्वक साक्षात्कार होता है तो बुद्धि में बोध होता है ना, तो ये संस्कार पक्ष मनोविज्ञान में जोड़ने से ही पूरा होगा, है ना. और ह्यूमन एंड ह्यूमेननेस एस्पेक्ट, तो भूगोल और इतिहास जो है इसमें मानव और मानवीयता पक्ष है. तो मानवीयता पक्ष का मतलब है कि अभी जो हम इतिहास है ना, तो इतिहास में पढ़ाते हैं कि कब किसने युद्ध किए, कितनी मार काट करी, है ना, यही सब पढ़ाते हैं. तो इतिहास मानव है ना, तो मानव का इतिहास वो होगा जहां से मानवीयता शुरू हुई है. अमानवीयता का इतिहास अभी हम इतिहास के रूप में पढ़ा रहे हैं, तो वो तो अमानव का इतिहास है ना. इस तरीके से हमको एडिशन करना है, एडिशन नहीं एक्चुअली करना है, हमको परिमार्जन करना है ना. तो विषय यही रहेंगे, है ना. पढ़ना तो मानव, जानना तो ये सब चाहता है, लेकिन अभी तक उसमें अमानव या शरीर मूलक, जैसे साइकोलॉजी में शरीर मूलक ही अभी तक
विश्लेषण हुआ है, ग्लोरिफिकेशन हुआ है, हाँ, हाँ, उसका उसका कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है ना, उसको चित्त में, क्योंकि जब हम बच्चे को बताते हैं तो उसकी स्मृति में चला जाता है ना, उसका चित्रण हो जाता है, तो उसकी उसको बताने की एक्चुअली कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है, परिमार्जित हो जाएगा ऐसा।
Right. So I'll just yeah. So we got a sort of explanation of that. Basically, what we'll be doing? We'll be doing the same activity, but the analysis of the same will be different in the sense that it will be now analyzed in the sense of existence, how we should see it in the line of orderliness, whether it was right or wrong based on orderliness, right? So that is what it will be. We'll be doing. Okay. Yes, Shivangi, if you're with us.
It is only with our true identity of humanness that we will live with the possibility, necessity, and success of resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence.
Mm,
Therefore, education and sanskar become complete only with humanness, not by any other means. The
mm,
sanskars we talk about at present are based solely on our prevalent beliefs and they lack universality. The third point is the truth. What is truth? Truth is to understand existence in the form of coexistence. One
mm,
understands existential orderliness upon understanding truth. Existence is studied only in the form of nature saturated in omnipotence.
mm,
Humans and the rest of the nature are complementary to one another as one develops the lifestyle according to this understanding. It only results in human orderliness. Once this is understood, we will live only in justice, we will live only in orderliness, and we will evidence only authenticity in our families and in our behavior. We will not engage in power centric rule. In this way, we reach the point of complete assurance, trust, and prosperity.
mm,
At present, it is taught in science that all that exists is basically chaos and uncertainty. Upon studying this, students start believing that they are also in chaos, and in turn, they start spreading chaos. Earth's present condition illustrates this clearly. Earth's temperature is rising. What is the root cause? The temperature is rising due to the extraction of mineral coal and petroleum from Earth's interior. They
mm,
know, and we know, how and why the temperature has risen. Coal
mm,
and petroleum are the only substances that absorb heat, and once we extracted these heat absorbing substances, it was natural for the Earth's temperature to rise. This rise in temperature has resulted in the rise of sea levels. How much could the sea levels rise? The place where we are sitting could have water levels 2 to 300 feet high. Only a few hilltops might be left above water. This is how we have become stuck. Many developed nations call out saying, let us fix this situation together. We know very well from the history who started it. We extracted coal and petroleum without understanding. This is an assault on Earth. We can test whether Earth could recover only after these assaults stop. How will these stop? We will talk about it later. Humans survived on Earth from very low to very high temperatures. Human body temperature remains the same everywhere despite so much variation in outside temperature. How does this happen? The body has substances that keep its temperature balanced. In the same way, coal and petroleum are the substances that maintain Earth's temperature.
Okay, I would like to just ponder on this a little bit because I was just talking about this as how the, the double-edged sword that we are cutting ourselves with. We are first of all digging for oil, and this so-called president of the United States has this slogan of drill, again and again, and make America rich through oil and coal and all those kind of things. So here we are seeing that how high will the sea levels be? It will be almost 100 or as it's saying, is it 100 feet? That's a lot, because where we are sitting, and if the water is 100 feet high, that is a lot of water, and that is in fact what would happen actually during the time when uh, the water sea levels will rise, and that is actually going to happen if the polar ice regions, which are 10 to 12 stories high, 10 to 12 floors high, start melting, and all that water comes rushing into all the shorelines. And in fact, India has one of the largest shorelines, starting from the Himalaya northern regions to the west of Gujarat to the south, and then up again to the Bay of Bengal. All these places are just covered with oceans, and not to mention the sea levels. If they rise, the humidity also will rise, and that will also create a lot of rainfalls. So we are seeing that what we are doing right now by using fossil fuels, by that I mean the coal and the petroleum, these fossil fuels are going to be the havoc, or if we see it in line with existence, they were placed there for a reason, and that is to maintain the Earth's temperature. And now we are seeing they're extracting it and using it for some measly. Uh, uh, and by the way, let me just add to this that what we drive as fuel for the cars, the cars use an internal combustion engine, which is just 20 to 25, at most 30% efficient. The rest of the energy, you can see that it dissipates away in form of heat in the exhaust or in the radiator. So all that energy, 70% of it is just lost in the air, and it is adding to the global climate change. So we are not even using this fuel efficiently, because the car has to be lightweight. That only Then only will it be running on the road smoothly. So if something is lightweight, that means the engines have to spill out a lot of energy just into the form of waste. So 30% efficiency at most. The engines, the ICE engines, they're called ICE engines, internal combustion engines. So the technology also is not developed so much that it can use the 100% of the energy. In comparison, the electrical vehicles that we have, they have above 80% efficiency, because that is electrical to mechanical or kinetic energy. The conversion rate is 80% above. So whatever we put in, we get back 80% from it, 80% and above. I'm sure they are working on better and better motors, induction motors, and all those things are having higher efficiency also. So just the technical background I'm trying to give, that the fossil fuels which we so readily remove from the earth without taking care of its how much time it took. Not only we are just removing it at such easy easiness, but we are also burning it without knowing the efficiency factor of it also. So I'm not saying that we should use or we should buy electric cars. That's also another whole our talk on it, because lithium also is used in that right now. They are working on sodium batteries, but that will take a little bit more time. But lithium extraction itself is a very gruesome process, because the lithium is a little bit in the side of minerals which is rarely found. It's called a rare mineral, and then that also creates a lot of big problems, social issues. Also, mining. Those mines are minings are almost children are used in that. So a lot of things of that nature are in that vicinity. Also, when we talk about electrical vehicles, so my point is that we should really just sort of sit down and see where our requirements are really dwindling, because dwelling, sorry, our requirements are dwelling for transportation, because we have found that we need to work in such and such a place, in such and such a city. And then that, based on that, we have such a number of group of people who are thinking in the same line. And New Delhi is one very good example, that a lot of people think like that in a similar nature. So a lot of stress is given to that country, particular city. And in that place, the lot of stress is given to the water resources, to the transport system, to the all of these things are just stretched to their limits. And we are seeing that now the city has turned polluted. The foods there, the air there, the water there is all stretched. So we just have to really see our point of view. Do we really want to waste about 2 or 3 hours just waiting in traffic, or driving in traffic, or driving in the roads of our whole life? They every day 2 or 3 hours, I think that's what they are on average, going to work, coming and going back to and fro. Sometimes they have to skip the lunch, and have it packed or delivered, and all these kind of things are happening. Simple things, away time from the family are not able to see each other because they have to leave so early, they come so late. So this is the kind of thing that we are seeing. It's all linked with the a lot of psychological things also, but yeah, I mean, everything is linked with everything else. We just have to reassess everything and just understand that I'm just trying to see. I hope you see that the links of all this, how fossil fuels is linked with cities and the development of the cities, how they are also at not efficiency. I mean, the sense of they are not the right place to live in the sense they are not healthy to live in, right? A lot of disconnection, even in the families, happen because of the city. So many people don't know each other because of the big size of the city, and a lot of crime happens in the city also, and all these kind of problems then develop in this kind of structure, you know. So yeah, I'm just trying to stitch together a lot of components, and I hope you're getting it. But my again point is that we are have to shift our thought process from energies and how we need to use the energy, not to stop in the sense that we need to stop using petroleum and coal, but I'm trying to say that why do we need to even use the transportation system as it is, even it is right now? Why do we need to travel so much? That's my question actually. Why don't we just reassess the that fact in itself, like do we even need that much of traveling to be done? I mean, everything is almost online these days, and things can be done through the internet and all these kind of things. So, uh, yeah, I mean, this is a very crucial point that we need to make a decision whether we need to continue the way we are continuing, which is obviously going to be, as Babaji has said, an assault on Earth, right? So that's the exact word he has used. If we just keep on continuing this, I'm just trying to look at the sentence where it is. Mm, yeah, it is somewhere. Earth's temperature is rising. What is the root cause? The temperature is rising due to the extraction of minerals, coal, petroleum from the Earth's interior. Right. So this is an assault on Earth. Right. Okay. So maybe we can take one more paragraph and then we can just ponder on it. Or maybe we can just take this one paragraph on 116. Yes, Yoni.
The present challenge is how can we stop the extraction of coal and petroleum? One solution could be to harness the energy from the powerful flow of rivers on the surface of the earth. We can generate 50 times more electricity than our requirement this way. We need to develop efficient turbines for this. Second, there are some machines which only run with oil. For these, we need to make engines that run with vegetable oil. There are oil seed stations which could be grown in large quantities. I think third, solar energy is already in focus. It needs more urgent attention. We need to make more machines and industries work with solar energy. In this way, we understand that there is more energy than our requirements available on Earth's surface. We can stop the use of coal and petroleum by replacing them with alternative sources of energy. It is only then can we test Earth's capacity to heal from the wounds inflicted by humans so far. There is one more sword hanging over our heads. If we analyze the event of water formation, where, when it first occurred on Earth, we will find that this event was caused by the conjunction of cosmic rays. Cosmic rays are the only cause of this event, and subsequently, the continuity of water has become established on Earth. There has been degradation in the Earth's environment. This could lead to the possibility of the same cosmic rays affecting in an adverse manner and causing water to disappear from Earth. Scientists have identified all the sources which have caused damage to the environment. Merely identifying these sources will not fix the damage. We need to rebuild.
Mm.
Rebuilding requires us to first stop the excesses we have been committing against Earth. We read in newspapers how the extraction of fossil fuels, coal, and the use of poisonous materials in warfare have caused immense damage to Earth's shield, that is the atmosphere. If it
Yeah.
is true, then we will have to stop all such activities. It is a great quality of humans that they think of reparation after causing a damage, a
Mm.
quality not found in animals. However, humans haven't done anything to repair the damage they have caused to the environment. On the contrary, it is getting worse by the day. How long can it go on like this? Will we ever do anything to repair the damage we have inflicted on Earth? Earth has
I think
kept
I,
provision.
I would like to add to this. Uh, if we are to look at even the repair factor, like I mean, I'm talking about pre-industrial age, when the air and water and the soil was of particular quality, or we can assume that it was of a better quality than it is now. Then I think somewhere around 200 to 500 years will take for the whole of all the Earth's population to work towards orderliness. That's what the work is needed. That is the amount of effect we have inflicted on Earth negatively. I mean, and so that is the amount of time that it will take for it to heal. I'm being very open minded here, and assuming that it will be fixed within 200 years. Because see, what happens is we are talking about environmental catastrophes, and that includes species extinction. And some of the species extinction, of course, if we have lost that gene pool altogether, like for example the rhinoceros, the African rhinoceros, there is a particular breed, the white rhinoceros. The last two females were there left, and they that now is going to be the now the extinction within a couple of decades, or even a couple of 5 years, 6 years, they will die, and those rhinoceroses will never be seen again on the African plains. So this is one example. There are millions of species of animals that we have lost. So yeah, first of all, the loss of that can never be recovered. Assuming that there are some numbers which are dwindling, for them to recover also takes tens of decades to recover. Because if you just look at one generation to multiply, it takes from two to come four, or to maybe to six, maybe even it takes maybe a decade, right? So we are looking at a very huge a time problem that we have to keep on staying on the right path of orderliness for maybe 200 to 500 years, just for the earth to become normal again. I'm not talking about even better. Something that better is we have not even seen, because we didn't allow the earth to continue to the right path. We just maybe in the evolutionary process, we were just achieving the right things that we thought were right, by industrializing everything, by using everything as a resource, by killing the plant and vegetation, and converting it to paper currency. This process itself has created such a havoc that we never saw what the earth would capable of flowering. And now we are at this point of where it will take at least 200 to 500 years to fix it now. So I think it's very crucial that we all understand this. And yeah, I mean, we are also talking about the atmosphere, how it has been filled with the poisonous materials, and also the water may disappear with the cosmic rays coming in and creating it in the negative way. So this is all very worth setting down and understanding first. I think this is a complete havoc that we are continuing. And I'm not saying it to at a particular the audience who is listening, but we just have to look into our hearts and say that, are we even adding to the healing part of it? Are we just continuing with what everybody is doing? And in the process, actually the earth is getting to uh, the worst position that it can get to. Because uh, when we even spend money on something, that only converts that spending into a yes, in the checkbox of the people who are making that, who has made that business. And so in the sense that what we spend money with, I was looking at Acharya Prashant's one of the videos. He said that the bag of chips that you buy is confirming your expenditure is confirming for them to clear some forest and put palm oil trees there, so that they can fry that potato chips in that place, or in that oil that the trees are grown in. And that's how you advocate or authorize in your name, by buying that packet of chips. So it's very heart wrenching. If you look at it, every small activities that we do are actually linked with the earth's prosperity or earth's healing, or in complete opposite also, the earth's demise or the earth's fall. It's all about how we are going to take it forward from at this point of time, because we are still having a couple of decades, I think, if not less. I'm just being optimistic here, but if we do it within this time frame, we can still see some healing happen. We will still be able to see some sort of repair happen, and Earth has this abundant capacity also of doing that, because that is how it is made. That is how it is. One of the reasons of one of the intrinsic nature of Earth is to balance itself. So by balancing, it also has mechanisms that it can really take the upswing that we have created and neutralize it, right? And just as you saw with the corona time, we also, a lot of change happened in the better by just being in our homes, So I'm just reminding all of us that let's maybe do that even as a volunteer. Let's just do that. Let's just stay and understand some of these philosophies, try to understand what it's trying to say here. Let's understand balance. Let's understand what is existence. And yeah, we are also out of time today. And I hope that everybody joining here has got some sort of insight, right? And that's the hope of that we can continue with this kind of sessions, because this is just with reality, right? Everything is just, I mean, this book is written so not so long ago, but is connected to us so directly right now, because we are facing all these issues still, right? So that means we still have a long way to go. And orderliness is literally uh, begged from us, not even asked from us, but it is almost begged from us, because if we don't do it, then who will, no aliens are coming to fix this situation. So yes, anyways, it was nice meeting all of you again. We will meet again tomorrow at the same time. Everybody, let's have a good night. Thank you.